So are you aware of this? What do I mean by that? Do you remember back in December of 2025, Zebec actually had a partnership with something called Hypernative, and it had a very big emphasis towards security. But I'm going to showcase kind of the results of what that has done for Zebec so far in case someone didn't really care about it or in case someone has never heard about it. I'll talk about that in today's video, and I'll talk about the impact again that it's kind of done for Zebec so far. Now, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is just my perspective, my opinion, and just what I think about this. However, did you know that again, back in December of 2025, they had a partnership with something called Hypernative? Now, when it comes to this, I think this was greatly allowed through their acquisition of GateKnox, because remember, Zebec acquired something called GateKnox, and GateKnox originally is very focused on compliance. So that was kind of a big victory when it comes to Zebec, and we saw a result of that. So that was pretty positive at the time. Now, granted, we fast forward to today, basically, Zebec recently made a post saying how since integrating with Hypernative, they say that more than 50,000, right? Again, more than 50,000 when it comes to the wallet side of things, they've been screened through their product suite, in which case does help strengthen their infrastructure and AI powered monitoring through Hypernative. So that has played a very large role in my opinion, right? I mean, if we think about it, other projects out there, when they actually get the revenue, they start hiring celebrities, start hiring athletes, start putting random billboards and stuff like this, which is fine for some cases, for memes. But when it comes to these type of projects, I feel like they need to put it back and they need to actually start acquiring things or not improving their security, their compliance. And so far, Zebec has actually done that, as evidently seen. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but I'm just saying this is from what I've observed so far, right? This is just based off what they post, not according to me. But also, beyond that as well, Zebec, keep in mind, there's over 100,000 holders as of right now. So clearly, compliance, security, it does matter. From the security side of things, we already know when they, had a partnership with Hypernative. Again, a lot of people thought it was pretty cool, but now we're kind of seeing the results. But also on top of that, let's not forget, when it comes to the compliance, Zebec actually has that sorted out as well to a certain extent. SOC2, MICA, and ISO 20022. Pretty impressive, right? Now, a lot of people out there like to mention ISO 20022, but they never talk about what that actually is or what that has actually done in terms of the impact. So let me explain that in today's video to the best of my capabilities in the most simple way possible, in my opinion. So ISO 20022, that is currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for something called inter-organizational data exchange. We see projects like XDC have an aspect of ISO 20022. We see an aspect of that when it comes to Ripple, to Stellar, Algorand, take a look at Hedera, and many others. So when it comes to Zebec, having an aspect of that as well, right? Again, ISO 20022, I'll stop saying it so much, but yeah, besides that point, it does matter, I think, when it comes to Zebec. Because if it matters when it comes to Stellar, when it comes to Ripple, however, keep in mind, Stellar and Ripple are partners when it comes to Zebec. I just wanted to point that out. But besides that, if an aspect of ISO 20022 does matter for Ripple and Stellar, I think it automatically does matter as well when it comes to Zebec. Because it's like, for instance, right? If let's say someone has a Ferrari, okay, it's cool. But if another person has it, it's also cool, right? I mean, what happens? It's cool for one person, but not for the other. How does that make sense? That's just kind of my opinion sometimes. So I think it's pretty cool when it comes to this as well. Zebec is not the most popular project, but I do see the traits that Zebec has in terms of the compliance and in terms of the security side of things. Because security, as of right now, it's a big topic. A lot of people do care about that. So Zebec is kind of reading the temperature of the room, and maybe they're thinking to themselves, like, yeah, a lot of people do care about security. Let's update people on how we've done through the partnership that they had. I suppose that's what they did. And clearly, again, them kind of showcasing the statistics of what has transpired through their partnership with Hypernative, I think it's a big thumbs up for me because, again, they kind of showcase the results of that particular partnership. Also, I would like to put another reminder that basically near the end of this month, we're going to be hearing about another major partnership when it comes to Zebec, which actually marks the first ever, right, time that the Stellar partnership and the Zebec partnership has kind of shown a result. Let me explain what I mean by this. Allegedly, there's going to be a very large bank in Europe that's going to be announcing this partnership with Zebec near the end of this month, and it's going to be having an aspect of the Stellar partnership that Zebec had when it comes to Stellar, of course. So that's going to mark the first time we've seen anything sort of come into fruition in regard to the Zebec and Stellar partnership, and it's going to start off with a very massive one, allegedly, with a large bank in Europe to kind of start off, I think, the Stellar and Ripple partnership in a more result driven type of way. So I think that's a big thumbs up for me. I think when it comes to Zebec, sure, people like to say, wow, the recovery has been only 30% in the past 30 days. This is so boring. This is not good. They like to say that, which from a chart perspective, I agree. I mean, it's not the best, but if we consider the implications and the impact and the results of what these partnerships that Zebec has been having, all the acquisitions that they had, or that they did, I should say, and also from what they have achieved through the compliance and security side of things, that all really does sometimes matter if the market were to pick up. Let's take a look at Cardano, for instance. Its native token called ADA, for quite a while, it was hovering at around a couple cents. A lot of people thought it was done for. They thought it was cooked. But Cardano, they just kept building. They kept building. Then what happened? In 2021, we saw ADA, Cardano's native token, reach well over $2. But keep in mind, when ADA was still hovering at around a couple cents, Cardano was still building, right? They didn't quit. They didn't stop. And eventually it did matter. Things usually matter after it's become popular, right? It's like, for instance, was anyone caring about what Jeff Bezos was doing around 35 years ago in terms of all the hard work he was putting in? I'm pretty sure some people did, but it wasn't like anything too public at the time. So when I take a look at that right there, again, usually people don't care about something after it's already done something. But in which case, I don't want to wait for that, because in this space, if people usually start caring about a particular project, that means something has already happened. In which case, I don't necessarily want to wait for something like that. That is just my mindset. Preferably, I like to care about it before it happened, right? I'd like to board the ship before it has departed. That's my mindset. So that's why I'm still waiting, but I'm not telling anyone to do anything. So yes, Zebec with a market cap as of right now, that is around 350 million. It's still down by around 200 million when compared to where it once was last year, but I think if anything, it improved a lot ever since then. So if that market conditions were to maybe return, or maybe even better, if Zebec surpassed what it did last year, it wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But this is only time will tell type of scenario. But I'll be sure to make more updates moving forward. So I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a very nice day. And of course, it's been Lee the Captain. I'm out. Peace. Bye.